progress on closing the achievement gap without charter schools.
Do you have any figures on charter schools closing the achievement gap other than the occasional couple of charter schools in this or that? Is there a study about overall charter schools closing the achievement gap? Because I haven't ever seen anything like that.
So we are going to ask each other questions.
I think that follows up on my question, because if that was what your presentation said to me, it's very much about the achievement gap, closing the achievement gap, which I think everyone in this room agrees is a good thing. But I think it's also reasonable to say, okay, show us where this has happened. And
well, I mean, just look at KIPP alone. I mean, when KIPP students are overwhelmingly the type of students that are in the achievement gap, and KIPP students are outperforming their counterparts in this state.
And how much does KIPP, how much percentage do they hold versus all the other charter schools? So there are a lot of non-KIPP charter schools, is that correct?
Yeah. Correct.
So, and are those schools
whatever the percentage of 32,000 is of 2 million?
I'm sorry?
KIPP is 32,000, and there are 2 million public charter school students.
So how are those other schools doing in closing the achievement?
But not all those 2 million students are students in the achievement gap.
32,000 KIPP schools? 32,000 students. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. 32,000 KIPP schools. 109. Wow.
Oh, so my understanding was, according to the bills that are in Olympia, it would be up to 10 charter schools per year for the next 5 years.
Right.
Correct.
They have to fill those 10.
And the interesting thing, just to make sure you do understand, is that this bill does not say that you can only open charter schools in certain places. They could open a charter school in Bellevue or Mercer Island, and I bet you they'd be quite surprised. And they have this sort of happening in New Jersey, where all these suburban districts are suddenly very angry that they're opening charter schools and they're in high-performing districts, but they want something there, and these people all thought it was only for the urban kids. And just to let you know, you can open these charters anywhere you want in the state.
Okay, I think I saw Eric first, and then Lisa, and in the back next. Oh, and Marianne, sorry. Okay, Eric.
Well, I'm the politically incorrect guy, and I always bring up the 600-pound gorilla in the room. Look around the room. You guys talk about closing an achievement gap. I mean, what do you see in here? Asian people, white people, they don't need the help. I mean, not that they didn't need the help, but that's not what you're looking at. If anything, what I care about is getting those parents, both black and Hispanic kids, to participate. And if charter schools can do that, I'm not for or against, but if you can do that, get them to show up to PTA meetings in their schools. Look at where all the good, quote-unquote, good and rich PTA places are. White neighborhoods, rich neighborhoods. I am not saying, I want charter schools to replace Arbor Heights. I mean, I'm happy here. I don't think that'll happen here. But if you can do anything, I mean, obviously the tools that we use now probably aren't working. I mean, that was a really good chart. The achievement gap has not closed. They throw money at it, nothing happens. I mean, what's the harm in trying something?
Well, there isn't any harm necessarily in trying it. I just want to point out again, it's not a pilot program, it's a law. But you know what, you bring up a really interesting question, because there was one study where they showed parents that had gone to a charter school and showed them that their traditional school had the same results as their charter school that they moved to. And they said, why did you move? I mean, now that you know this, how do you feel? And to a person, they all said, I got to make the choice of being in this school. And I think some of what you're saying about feeling tied to a school and committed to a school, we all know that parent involvement makes a difference. And for some parents, having that ability to make that choice for charter, at least in this survey, made a difference.
I would really be in support of charter schools if I thought they would be a fair deal for underserved communities, for minority communities. And I really don't think they are. And that's because the community just ends up not having, like in the Green Dot example, they wanted the school, but they couldn't have it, and it was because there was a business really with a bottom line. I didn't tell the whole story about that, But part of it was that Green Dot was losing money on the school. And that's not a reason, that's not in my mind a legitimate reason to close a school if they're losing money, but it's meeting a need. So that option was there, but it was able to be taken away.
In Santa Clara County, recently, just a couple months ago, there's a successful charter school network there called Rocket Ship, and it's had remarkable success with the Hispanic community, and in particular, it's focused on the Hispanic community. 700 people showed up at a school board meeting demanding that the school board open more Rocket Ship schools because they're so impressed with the results. In fact, some of the Rocket Ship schools are outperforming their wealthier counterparts in the suburbs. And so, it's like everything else. For every bad example, I can give you a good one. What I can tell you is where these schools are opening, you are seeing remarkable parental support for them. I'll even give you just a funny statistic because I like jokes. In New Jersey, charter schools are more popular with African American parents than they are with Republicans.
Okay, so we're supposed to adjourn at 8. So we're going to go really quick. Lisa.
I've done a little bit of reading regarding this, and from what I've read is that people said that this particular bill that's in committee right now, even if you like charter schools, this isn't the bill to like. So kind of like they've kind of gotten, what they're proposing isn't perhaps even the best bill to put forth. And then I know you've talked a lot about Eric Pettigrew, but you haven't talked about his co-sponsor. And my understanding is that he's from Medina and perhaps maybe doesn't even have children in the public schools. And he has kind of brought Eric Pettigrew on to kind of be his token.
Wow.
I think that's
really out of line.
Well, she's saying what she wrote.
I'm just saying what I